If you remember last week, we talked about red brain and how in red brain we have 3 responses, usually fight, flight, or freeze. And we talked about how red brain isn't bad, it's good, we need it, it keeps us safe. But at the same time, sometimes it gets confused or it gets tricked and it thinks that we're not safe when we actually are. And so it does one of these 3 fight, flight, or freeze responses, even though it doesn't really have to. And so we're talked last week about some ways that we can let our red brain know it's okay, we're safe, you don't have to sound the alarm, and it's okay to calm down. And so we're going to look at the sheet that I hope your teacher passed out and learn a little bit more about what we can do when we're in red brain. So I hope you are able to look at this sheet in front of you, and you can see that this is kind of a step-by-step what to do when you're in red. And we talked about this one. Number 1 was to name it red, and that's when we talked about saying, I'm in red brain, or I feel red, because that lets you know what's going on with your body and your brain when you speak it out loud. It helps you become aware of what's happening. And then it also helps other people around you become aware of what's happening so that they can help you. So it's important to name it, to speak what is going on. I feel red, or I'm in red brain, okay? The second thing we also talked about, pause to breathe. And we talked about how when you take a big, deep breath in and a deep breath out, it sends a signal to your red brain that it's okay to calm down. You're safe. And sometimes we have to do that 2 or 5 or 10 times before our red brain really gets the message that it's okay to calm down. You don't have to sound the alarm. You're safe. Okay, another tool I like to use when I'm breathing is I make a little kind of cup with my hands, and I put it up to my nose, and I call this soup breathing. So it's like you're smelling soup, and then you're blowing on soup. And you're smelling soup, and you're blowing on soup. And that's just another tool you can use to remind yourself to take a deep breath and get those deep breaths in and deep breaths out to help your red brain calm down and realize that you're safe and it doesn't need to sound the alarm. The third thing you can do is think safety first. So you use your green plan. What is my plan for getting back to green? I'm in a red brain right now, but what is my plan for getting back to green? And that is actually on the back side of the paper. So you guys go ahead and flip it over. And so on the back side of the paper here, you see up at the top, what's my green plan? And there's a section there for your name, and you guys can see that there's a home section here and a other section, maybe the park or a grandparent's house. But for today, we're just going to focus here on this school section. And so down here at the bottom, there's some ideas that you can try when you're in red brain. When you name it, I'm in red. When you pause to breathe, okay, these are some things down here that I can do. Let me talk to you about this list over here on the other side. The do wall pushes, listen to music, run, swing, skip, play ball, take a shower. These are things that may be ideas that you could try at home or ideas that you could try maybe at another place, but they're not always good ideas for school. So we really are going to focus on this column. Okay, and just pick some of these from this column and put it up here in the school section and think, okay, well, next time I'm in red brain, I'm going to try one of these things. You guys, drinking water may sound like a strange one, but our brains are 80% water. That's almost all water. And so when you pause, when you're in red brain, you pause to take a drink, you're nourishing your brain with the water that it needs. Okay, drawing a picture, asking for help. If you have a book corner or a calm corner in your room, going to that spot and just concentrating on breathing. But these are all things that we can do instead of that fight, flight, or freeze response. These are all things that will actually help us get back to green brain. If you have some different ideas, you can put them here in this little blank section. But what I would like you to do, if you have time today, is to just maybe pick 1 or 2 of these ideas and think, you know what, when I'm in red brain, I think that might actually help me. So I'm going to take one of these ideas and I'm going to put it up here in the school section to see if that would help. So I hope you guys have learned a little bit more about red brain, maybe a little bit more about how to handle it when you go to red brain. And I hope that you guys get a chance to make a green plan, figure out how you're going to respond when you're in red brain, and maybe practice your soup breathing, taking those deep breaths, because it's so important to practice when we're in green brain, when we're feeling safe and ready to learn and ready to cooperate, to practice, okay, what's my plan for when I go to red brain? I'm going to name it, I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to follow my green plan. And so making a plan for that can help us in those moments when our red brain sounds that alarm and wants to fight, flight, or freeze, even when we're safe and we don't need that. So I hope you guys get a chance to practice some of those tools, and I will be back for another Stoplight lesson later.